They don't shoot many threes, they don't have a traditional superstar, and yet the Houston Rockets have quietly become one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA. What Houston has been doing is not by accident. It's the result of strategic decisions rooted in math and matchup exploitation. And with the playoffs looming, they're the one team that nobody wants to face. In a league that critics say is increasingly homogenous, where fast-paced, up-tempo basketball, high three-point volume, and five-out spacing dominate, the Rockets are zagging against the grain. But make no mistake, this isn't a team that's ignoring analytics. What they're doing is deliberate, data-driven, and extremely effective. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball for this defensive juggernaut. The Rockets lead the NBA in field goal attempts per 100 possessions at 94.3, and despite being just 19th in effective field goal percentage, which is typically a strong measure of offensive effectiveness, they are 8th in the NBA in offensive rating, according to Cleaning the Glass. That alone should make you do a double take. What's the secret here? Possessions. They win the shot margin almost every single night. They are first in offensive rebound rate at 35.8% and 8th in turnover percentage at just 13.8%, meaning they generate more shot opportunities than their opponents nearly every game. It's not flashy, it's not reliant on isolation-heavy basketball or three-point volume, but it works.
The main thing is just crashing to put pressure on the defense so they're worried about the offensive rebound anyway.
Winning the possession battle through offensive rebounding is a known path to success. The Raptors, the Grizzlies, and most recently, the New York Knicks have capitalized on this in recent years. What Houston is doing is combining their outlier offensive rebounding with elite defense to forge an identity that is both unconventional and deeply rooted in sound math. They also have the lowest assist percentage in the NBA at 54.8%. This is actually a reflection of their high offensive rebound rate, as second chance points are less likely to be assisted, and the Rockets are number 1 in the NBA by far on points per missed shot. You won't confuse this Rockets team with the beautiful game San Antonio Spurs, but they are maximizing volume and minimizing waste. Defensively, they're even more impressive. They boast the second best defensive rating in the NBA and rank second in opponent effective field goal percentage. Unlike teams like Oklahoma City who thrive on turnovers, Houston ranks just 16th in defensive turnover rate. Instead, they win by staying solid, communicating, and forcing tough shots across every area of the floor. You want to shoot at the rim? Houston holds opponents to well below league average efficiency. You want to try the mid-range? Most teams will concede these relatively low-value shots, not the Rockets. They force the worst mid-range shooting percentage in the league. From 3, not only do opponents shoot below league average from 3, but the Rockets allow the third fewest frequency of opponents' threes. They don't even let you take them. They don't concede anything. It's the ultimate version of a low-variance defense. They don't gamble for steals, but rather limit open shots of any kind and force opponents into inefficient decisions. Their ability to control every zone on the floor is both rare and deliberate. Their best player, Alperen Sengun, embodies the team's unique approach. Sengun has often been maligned for his lack of athleticism and his perceived defensive limitations, but in reality, he's an incredibly smart positional defender. He uses his footwork, timing, and quick hands to disrupt action, and he's improved significantly as a rim protector. According to B-Ball Index, Sengun currently ranks in the 92nd percentile in rim protection in the entire league. Sengun doesn't overwhelm with verticality, he wins with geometry. He gets to the right spots, anchors the scheme, and compensates for his physical limitations with elite defensive feel. Offensively, most know what Sengun can do. He's a modern hub at the 5. He's a skilled post scorer who demands double teams and then punishes them with elite vision. He frequently generates wide open threes off of post-ups by forcing rotations and reading them perfectly. His ability to run offense through the post allows the Rockets to dictate tempo and offers a perfect complement to their offensive rebounding. Like some of his three-point shooting counterparts around the league, Sengun's gravity pulls the defensive big away from a strong rebounding position, which allows his teammates to regularly swoop in for offensive rebounds. Second-year player Amen Thompson is one of the most athletic players in the league, and I only say one of because his twin brother Asar Thompson is the other. He uses his burst and leaping ability to mask his developing jumper. He regularly explodes to the rim, catching lobs that just shouldn't be catchable. On defense, he's a complete nightmare. Already one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, he's impossible to shake one-on-one and terrifying in help defense. When opponents are on a fast break, he runs them down like Tyreek Hill catching up to his teammates on a breakaway touchdown. This guy is teleporting from out of nowhere for a chase down block, seemingly on a nightly basis. Around Sengun and Amen is an elite defensive infrastructure. Fred VanVleet, one of the best guard defenders in the league, offering pressure at the point of attack. Dylan Brooks, a physically imposing wing stopper whose energy, when controlled, fuels both ends of the floor. Tari Eason, one of the best defensive playmakers in the NBA, who racks up deflections, steals, and blocks with elite anticipation. Offensively, Jalen Green gives them a high variance isolation option. He's very streaky, but very explosive. He's shooting his highest three-point volume of his career, and despite a shot diet heavy and off-the-dribble attempts, he's still hovering near league average efficiency, adding just enough shooting gravity to stretch the floor. Key complementary pieces like Jabari Smith Jr., Aaron Holiday, Cam Whitmore, and Steven Adams give the Rockets lineup flexibility, toughness, and continuity across minutes. Adams in particular helps reinforce the offensive rebounding dominance and provides physicality that very few teams can match. Rockets fans are quick to let you know that when Adams and Sengun play together, the Rockets absolutely dominate with a plus 32.5 per 100 net differential. One of the very best two-man pairings in the entire league with over 100 possessions played. This is, of course, on the back of an absurd 51% offensive rebound rate. That means that when those two are on the court, they are rebounding more of their team's missed shots than their opponents are. That's completely ridiculous. Make no mistake, this team is not ignoring the data. They're exploiting a different inefficiency. Offensive rebounds and defensive discipline don't show up in the same ways as high volume threes or turnover generation, but they still lead to wins. The Rockets are proof that there's more than one analytically sound way to win basketball games. And rather than being an outlier by accident, they've built a system that is optimized for disruption. Their blend of shot volume, shot suppression, and lineup depth makes them uniquely built for a playoff environment. The idea that all NBA teams now play the same way just isn't true. Houston is the counterexample, showing that if you build around elite defense, you win the possession battle, and maximize depth, you can win at the highest level.
Well, my style personally is very upfront, honest, and blunt to an extent. I think the players respect that honesty, straightforwardness.
Much of this transformation can be traced back to head coach Ime Udoka. He's the strategist and the enforcer behind Houston's identity. From the moment he arrived, he instilled a culture of accountability, grit, and defensive commitment. The Rockets under Udoka do not back down, they don't flinch, and they don't care who's on the other side. This team has adopted a mindset that every possession matters and that toughness is non-negotiable. His emphasis on consistency, team defense, and effort has reshaped a roster once thought to be rebuilding into one of the most disciplined units in the league. The culture shift is visible, and Udoka is a huge reason why the Rockets are well ahead of schedule. Come playoff time, the Rockets won't have the best player in most series. That's usually a problem, but they may have the best team in the truest sense of the word. They make you uncomfortable, they make you miss, they grab the rebound, and run their offense with purpose. There will be questions. Can they score in the half court in high leverage moments? Can Sengun hold up defensively against elite playoff scorers? Will the lack of three-point shooting come back to haunt them in a tight Game 6? But here's the thing, they've already shown that they can beat the best teams. They dismantled the Thunder, one of the best teams this decade. They completely stifled Steph Curry on his home floor, one of the best players of this generation who came into the matchup with Houston on a major scoring binge. Over the last 2 weeks, they've had the second best point differential in the league. They're not underdogs because they're lucky. They're underdogs because they're misunderstood. They don't have stars, they don't have much hype, but they do have math, grit, and cohesion. And in a postseason defined by matchups and adjustments, that might be more valuable than ever. The Rockets aren't breaking the rules, they're reading the game differently. And come playoff time, we'll see just how far that vision can take them.